little talisman here, so I hope he'll balance. Maybe not. 44 years ago, the astronauts of Apollo 17 turned their camera away from the moon where they were going back home, and they took this picture. And it changed everything. This was the first time that we ever saw that we really do live on a little island in the middle of space, the blue marble. And now the astronauts up on the space station, and many astronauts since, have seen this view, which shows just how fragile the planet is and how tiny the atmosphere looks in comparison. It's beautiful from up there, but it's beautiful here too. But here's the problem. We're disconnected from the beauty here on Earth. We are disconnected from where we came from, which is the blue marble, planet Earth. The Earth has everything that we need to sustain us. As Chief Seattle said, all things share the same breath, whether it's the tree, the beast, the man, we all share the same air. And it's very true. When I lived in a waterfront house here in Annapolis a while ago, I was in tune with the tides, I was in tune with the storms, I was in tune with nature. Now I live in an apartment that overlooks a parking lot. I don't know if the tide's coming or going, I can barely see the sky, and I'm poorer for it. A lot of people don't see this scene. They don't see sunsets. They don't have the rhythm of the world as part of who they are. But it is part of who we are. The problem, I think, with a lot of the things that are plaguing our society is that we live in concrete canyons, many of us, maybe not this big, but a little smaller. We live in air conditioning, we live in concrete, and we're completely out of tune. And what happens when we live like this is that it turns out that Mother Nature is under attack, and it's under attack by us. We're the only species that does things that are against our best interests. It's amazing. You wouldn't do this in your own house. Why would you dirty up the world that you live in? Maybe because people don't realize that we're all part of the same thing. We don't even know where our food comes from. You know, you wouldn't want to live like this. Why do you want the animals that produce the food that you enjoy living like this? It makes no sense. So what happens when we're when we're stressed like this because we're not connected to nature and therefore not to each other? We're angry. Does this look familiar? We're angry and we're upset, and that translates into bigger global issues like poverty, despair, that sort of thing. When the place where you live is not clean, not safe, when the air that you breathe isn't good, there is despair, there is poverty, and often conflict. So things like this lead to war. In fact, there are theorists who say that the reason for the uprising and the conflict in the Middle East can be traced back to climate change, to heavy drought in that part of the world. When people are hungry, they're angry, and when they're angry at each other. So what about a child like this? Does this child think that this is normal? That he can see the air? You're not supposed to see the air. So what are we leaving for the generations behind us? That's the question. And I don't want to be Debbie Downer here. There are things that we can do. We need to not only connect with nature to protect us as a species and the earth, but also the things that our civilizations have created. This is the result of climate change in Venice, sea level rise. So there's a lot that's worth protecting. So what can we do? We can connect with nature and therefore connect to each other. It's very important to do that, and we can do this. We can do this on a small scale like this, and we can do it on a larger scale too by insisting that people who control our policies in our country put nature first and not the almighty dollar first. So what do? We connect back with the circle of life. We recognize that we're part of this. And this is a little quote from the book of Job in the Bible. If you don't know what to do, ask the animals and they'll teach you. Ask the birds in the sky, they'll tell you. Or speak to the earth, it will tell you. Or let the fish of the sea inform you. Go hug a tree. Go tell a kid all about nature. Take a kid camping or fishing. Get them connected to earth, because that way they'll connect to each other. And we will all have a better chance of living in peace. Now more than ever, we need to do this, not only on a global scale, but here close to home too. We need to protect our bay because we can only influence what we can touch, what's close to us. So this is the way that we all need to live. And we can do this. It's not hard to do that. But like I said, it's more important than ever, because otherwise that little blue marble there is going to turn into that song that you may know by Joni Mitchell. They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. So let's not do that. Thank you.